It comes as no surprise that the Denver Nuggets are still one of the best teams in the NBA. The reigning champions are the 4th seed, right behind the Clippers and Thunder in the regular season standings. The Western Conference has become even more competitive than it was in 2023, which may seem hard to believe as the Western Conference was already pretty stacked. They have slightly fallen down in the standings compared to the 2023 season. As of the 7th of February 2023, they were the 1st seed. There are a few reasons to this in my opinion. First, the Western Conference got harder. The 2nd seed last season was 4.5 games behind and the 3rd seed was 7 games behind the Nuggets. This season, as I said before, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th seed have pretty much the same record. So it's safe to say that the West is tougher than ever right now. Another explanation would be that the Nuggets have just won the title and maybe winning another one in 2024 isn't as much of a priority as it used to be for the players, including Nikola Jokic, whose shooting efficiency has slightly decreased. Now, I'm not saying they don't care about winning another championship, I'm just saying that the Nuggets have proven to everyone in the NBA that they're able to win one. So maybe going back-to-back is their goal, but ultimately Jokic and the squad got their ring. Also, there hasn't been a single repeat in the last 6 years, meaning that it's become incredibly hard to go back-to-back and win a championship. Coming back to the roster, it hasn't changed that much compared to 2023. The most notable change was the departure of Bruce Brown, who was key to their playoff run. He signed with the Pacers but was then traded in January of 2024 to the Raptors. So despite not making any major change to their team, the Nuggets are actually in a very good position in terms of team chemistry if they're determined to win another title. We're going to focus on their offense and see how good they actually are. The Nuggets only have the 13th highest offensive rating at 117.9, which might not sound great, but their leading scorers are of course Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, their dynamic duo. Jokic is averaging almost a triple-double, showing he's still one of the best, if not the best player in the world. His numbers are 26 points, 12 rebounds and 9 assists. He's also shooting 58% from the field and 35% from 3, which is slightly worse than last season, but he's taking about 3 more shots than last year, which is a very significant increase in shots taken. He's actually 6th in 3-point percentage among centers, so he is still one of the best 3-point shooting bigs in the league. Jamal Murray is averaging very good numbers, 21 points, 4 rebounds and 6.5 assists, while shooting 47% from the field and 41% from 3. Needless to say, he's a very efficient shooter this season. Jokic and Murray are one of the best duos in the NBA and it shows. On this play, Jokic cuts immediately to the basket after creating enough separation with his defender, and Murray is great at these bounce passes, so that leaves Jokic enough space to finish at the rim. This time, Jokic actually sets the screen for Murray, and while Herb Jones tries to fight through the screen and recover on Murray, Valanciunas has to help out on Murray, but that leaves Jokic wide open for a bounce pass. You can see how he creates space for himself as Murray is attracting both defenders. Everyone knows that Nikola Jokic is pretty much unstoppable offensively. He's got that undescribable feel for the game, and although he's not the most athletic player on the court, nor the fastest, he's the smartest one and will punish defenses for their mistakes by beating his defender or passing the ball to an open man. In fact, he's so good offensively that the team's offensive rating when he's on the court is 124.3. If you compare that to when he's off the court, the team has an offensive rating of 109.1. That is a huge difference of 15.2. This just goes to show how much he impacts their offense. Not only is he averaging 26 points, he's averaging nearly 10 assists as a center. What's crazier is that he's 4th in assists per game in the entire league, just behind Luka Doncic and in front of James Harden, who's averaging 8.5 assists. He's doing all of that as a center. Jokic is in his own lane. He's an unbelievable playmaker and can score if he needs to, but the reason the Nuggets are so good is because of the unselfishness and the team chemistry. The NBA today is about spacing, stretching the floor, and Jokic is really comfortable on the perimeter, thus bringing traditional bigs out of their comfort zone, which is the paint. He's able to knock down three-pointers if he's left wide open, but if he's bringing up the ball, most of the time he'll initialize the offense and pass the ball to his teammates and then set a screen, for example. But the most important thing is that he's a really good playmaker, able to dictate the offense. Of course, Jokic is surrounded by really good players that complement one another. Jamal Murray, who I've previously mentioned, is having a great year. He's averaging 6.5 assists, which puts him 13th in the NBA in that category. In fact, 4.7 of his assists convert to 2-point plays and 1.9 of them convert to 3-pointers. And the reason for that is half of his 2-point assists are at the rim, so they come from pick and rolls and cuts mostly. Here are some of his assists that translate to 2-point baskets. On this play, pay attention to Murray and KCP. Initially, KCP sets a screen for Murray on the left wing. Then he cuts towards the basket and there's confusion among the Raptors' defense as OG thinks Dennis Schroeder is going to stick to KCP. So, with Murray having two defenders on him, he identifies the open KCP who settles for a wide open mid-range shot. Here, you see that same type of play as before where Jokic creates some separation after Murray attracts two defenders on the pick and roll. Coming back to his 3-point assists, 75% of them translate to above the break threes, which are non-corner threes, and that's because the Nuggets run a lot of 5-out motion offense, which I'll talk about later. Have a look at these two assists by Murray that lead to open threes. On this play, OKC is running a 3-2 zone, and one way of beating that defense is to look for open corner threes, and that's exactly what Murray does as he drives to the basket, forcing Lou Dort to help, leaving Brown wide open for the corner three. Once again, Jamal Murray drives to the basket, and by now, you've probably figured out that he's great at attracting multiple defenders, thus creating open shots for his teammates, and that's exactly what he does here with KCP. Moving on to Aaron Gordon, their power forward. He's having a bit of a down year in terms of points, going from 16.3 points in 2023 to almost 14 in 2024. But he's also taking less shots. And he's still shooting 75% at the rim, which is better than guys like Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama, and Jason Tatum, to name a few. He is well known for his finishing, and these numbers prove it. Gordon is also the perfect big next to Jokic. As I said, Jokic is a great playmaker and they have great chemistry inside the 3-point line. These plays show how effective this duo of Jokic and Gordon is. Here, they run a pick and roll with Gordon being the screener and Antetokounmpo switches onto Gordon, so that forces Brook Lopez to guard Jokic, leaving enough time and space for the alley-oop to AG. On this play, Jokic has a mismatch on Simons, who tries to intercept the pass but fails, so Reith now has to close out on Jokic and AG is able to slip inside the paint for an open dunk. It shows how great of a playmaker Jokic is and how good of a finisher Aaron Gordon is next to him. And finally, every great NBA team has good shooters, and the Nuggets have exactly that in KCP and Michael Porter Jr. First, let's talk about KCP. He's shooting 38% from 3, which may not seem great compared to 2023, where he shot 42.3% from 3, but he still is an above average shooter. He's a great catch and shoot player. 97 of his 3-point shots are assisted, and 100% of his corner threes are assisted as he plays off the ball and stretches the floor for the Nuggets. You'll often see him sit in the corner or on the wings, waiting to receive a pass if Murray needs to kick the ball out. And he may be shooting 38% from 3 overall, but he is making nearly 42% of his shots from the corner, which is why the Nuggets are really scary offensively, as they are dangerous inside and outside the 3-point line. His above-the-break threes are actually bringing his three-point shooting efficiency down, as he's only making 35.6% of them. Regardless, he's still really important to this Denver Nuggets squad. Moving on to Michael Porter Jr., he's scoring about 16 points per game while shooting 39% from 3 on 7 3-point attempts a game. His efficiency is really impressive considering the number of threes he's attempting. Michael Porter Jr. is known for his quick trigger, and by that I mean if he gets the ball, he'll most likely shoot it. Unlike KCP, he doesn't attempt as many corner threes, as they only represent 10.5% of his three-point attempts, although he is still shooting 41% from that area. Most of his three-point shots come from above the break, and he's making nearly 39% of them. So needless to say, these two guys are essential to this team with the spacing they provide. The Nuggets run a lot of 5-out motion offense. For those who don't know, this offense is all about stretching the floor, and it relies heavily on screens, cuts, and basically the offense makes plays based off reading the defense. It's a very popular type of offense in this day and age. Here's how it works really quickly. 5 spots have to always be filled: the corners, the wings, and the top. If a player cuts, either one player must fill in his spot or he has to come back. The 5-out motion offense forces players to become positionless, and that brings me to the Nuggets, as you'll often see Jokic, Murray, KCP, and even AG sometimes bring the ball up the court, showing that positionless brand of basketball. Here are some plays where the Nuggets run a 5-out motion offense. On this play, Murray gets the DHO from Jokic, and look how Michael Porter Jr. rotates to the left corner and how his teammates slide up to fill the open spot. Meanwhile, Murray gets double-teamed and passes the ball to Jokic, who's able to get an easy layup. And as he gets a shot up, Murray has filled the open spot in the right corner. Here, all spots are filled, meaning no Nuggets player is inside the 3-point line. That leaves the paint being virtually unguarded, and Jackson capitalizes on that, taking the screen by Jokic and going all the way to the rim. Another variation of this offense is the 4-out 1-in motion offense. Teams who run this type of offense usually have old-fashioned bigs whose presence inside around the rim is very valuable to the offense. The Nuggets actually run this variation of the 5-0 quite often when AG is on the floor. As we've seen previously, Jokic and AG have a strong two-man game, and that comes from AG being down low outside the paint at the start of offensive possessions, and then when Jokic or someone else drives to the basket attracting multiple defenders, AG is able to slip inside the paint and catch lobs. Basically, the 4-out 1-in motion offense is different in the sense that you've got one player inside, right? And that player, the post player, must fill in either one side of the low post or one side of the high post. Basically, he won't be involved in screens and will be utilised as a rim finisher, to put it simply. Have a look at these plays where they run this type of offense. On this play, Aaron Gordon is able to get a mismatch on Klay Thompson while in transition. Take a look at how each spot is filled: the weak side corner, the wings, and the top. When Aaron Gordon gets the ball, Saric comes to help, leaving Reggie Jackson wide open for 3. Here, Jokic is the player inside. Murray first passes the ball to him, then Murray and Michael Porter Jr. switch position, and as MPJ runs up, he sets a flare screen, leaving Murray wide open on the corner 3. I really like this type of offense because it allows the offensive team to have a presence inside. The point I'm trying to make is that Denver's offense is so good because their offense relies on making smart plays based on reading defenses, and that's why more and more teams are transitioning to the 5-out motion offense and the 4-out 1-in offense. Now, with all of that being said, I really believe the Nuggets are still a top team in the NBA. Their offense remains one of the best, and the players have great chemistry. I would not be surprised if they made it to the Western Conference Finals this year and possibly the NBA Finals.